Yes, welcome to A Few Minutes with Teacher Chiso. So, I want to explain a concept or an idea that is talked about all over the world, especially in the Christian circles. It is the topic about hell. Many Christians have come out to argue, stating that hell is just a concept that helped the early Christians and the Christians of the mundane now to instill fear in the people so that they can agree to the certain ideologies that is found in the Christian circles or in a religion. So I want us to talk about hell. Where does the concept of hell emerge from? Where is its advent or its origin? So what is the word hell? In simple terms, the word hell means the place of torment, a place where people go, those people that never used to do good, and the people that are not in line with the word of God. That is according to the Christian understanding. Now, today I just want to enlighten you of where this concept is coming from. I'm not here to tell you whether to believe in hell or not to believe in hell, but I want to explain to you where the idea of hell is coming from. It will interest you to know that the concept of hell is started in the Old Testament, but you never find the word hell in the Old Testament. And the way we understand hell today is different to how the people of the Old Testament, of the OT, understood it. So it has been developing from the OT, coming to the intertestamental periods, then to the NT, that is the New Testament. So the concept of hell begins in the OT, but it was not understood as we understand it today. So according to the Old Testament, the word hell, you cannot find it. You search all the scriptures, you peruse all the pages of the Bible, but of the Old Testament, but you will not find the word hell. The word that you are going to find there, or rather the concept, is the concept of Sheol. Sheol is a place, a dark place where all souls, righteous and non-righteous, go to once they die, or people once they die. You can find this in Genesis 37, verse 35, and Psalm 9, verse 17. Now, the word begin, or rather the concept begins to change. It comes to the word which is called Abadoni. Abadoni, now the meaning changes, or rather the concept changes. It is a place where there is distraction, a place of distraction, abyss. You can find this in Job 26, verse 6, and Psalm 88, verse 11. Now, also the concept now begins to change. It is called Gehennom. Gehennom is a place, it is a valley where children in Jerusalem were sacrificed to Molech, and later it was associated to punishment. So the OT emphasizes so much the separation of God rather than the eternal torment. So in this particular part of the OT, there isn't that much of when you die you are going to be tormented, when you die you are going to go to hell, or rather be in a place of torment. It only talks about the dark place and nothing happens there. Now, between the OT and the NT, there is what we call an intertestamental period, or the development of the intertestamental period. The concept evolves now. The Jewish thought has been influenced by apocalyptic literature. For example, or books such as the Book of Enoch and the Book of Jubilees. They are now influencing the concept of hell during the intertestamental period. And another influence was the Hellenistic influence. Hellenistic, when I talk about Hellenistic, we are talking about Hellenization, which was brought by the Greeks through Alexander the Great. Hellenization was the colonization of other cultures, such as the Israelite culture, the Hebrew culture, by the Greek culture. Or in other words, the Greek culture now came to dominate over other cultures. That was Hellenization. Now, when the Greeks were coming to colonize these small kingdoms like Israel, Palestine, and everything, they brought with them the culture, their culture, Hellenization. They begin to teach what they believed in their culture. They begin to teach their values. They begin to teach their norms. So the people of Israel, especially the children that are born, are Hellenized or are colonized in their thought by the Greek culture. So this also now begins to influence the concept of Sheol, or rather hell, in the Jewish thought. So according to the Greeks, pardon me, the concept now, the name changes. It is called in the Greek idea of an underworld, Hades. So the Greeks came with their own idea of the afterlife or hell. It was called Hades. So now when it comes to the NT comes with now begins to develop the concept, now begins to emphasize on the concept of hell, but it comes with a different word, a word that is common today, the word Gehenna, which Christ himself uses. He uses it by describing the place of torment. That is, should we find it it should be Mark, in the book of Mark. There's also the word Hades, which is interchangeably used. It can be called Gehenna or Hades in the NT. Now, the emphasis in the New Testament is as follows. The New Testament emphasizes so much on the separation of the wicked from the wicked from the righteous, and emphasizes so much on the torment, or rather the punishment after one dies, which is contrasting to the Old Testament perspective of the afterlife. The Old Testament emphasizes so much on the separation from God rather than torment, a place of torment, the eternal torment. Now, the New Testament now begins to develop, and the concept of hell begins to have roots and ground as to the way we know it now. Now, in the early church, it comes now to the early church. People like Origen emphasized so much on the teaching of hell. Later, Augustine now solidifies the idea now. And Jeremy comes now to translate the Bible from Koine Greek to Latin Vulgate. Now, that is where now the concept now has been shaped to the way we know it now. So if you have any question about this, I've just done a summary, but there are years ascribed to each and every period where the concept is changing. So this is the concept of hell, the development of the concept of hell from the Old Testament to the intertestamental period until to the NT and the early church now. This was Teacher Chiso signing out. Shalom.